Excellent!
Excellent!
Fresh!
Like totally awesome!
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This new segment's gonna be a little bit different from the other ones because I literally recorded the entire 24 minutes and I left out the most important story. So I'm just gonna kick off and talk about it because I can't believe it just like, left my head. I was just like, having a laugh, talking about, this other stuff because I think this is the end result of years of conditioning. So let me give a little bit of history, right? In the beginning, you had X-Men 1, and, it had Halle Berry in it, right? Hugh Jackman wasn't jacked. The uniforms, the X-Men outfits, they were of questionable design. The director was Bryan Singer, so take with that what you will. I heard things about him. Maybe you have too. And I'm not trying to like judge or anything, but you know. And yeah, it was. I think actually, you know what carried it? What carried that movie was Patrick Stewart and Gandalf, Ian McKellen. I think those are the two actors carried it. Like, obviously everybody was like great in it, you know. Famika Jensen or something. Yeah, she's hot. She gray. Um, whatever. It was one of those like of its time movies, right? Now fast forward till like I think X-Men 2 or Wolverine, and Hugh Jackman got jacked. Like he was like super muscular. It was ridiculous like how much muscles he had. And this was at the time when like, directors, like movie, whatever, right? Like they weren't moving away from the CG, right? So there's always this backup plan, like we can have like a regular actor and then like he could turn into the Hulk or something like, super monstrous beast or some shit like that, or like be Spider-Man and then like act like puts a spider suit on and you have an actor like a stunt double or some shit like that, right? They would like come out with like one-offs. Captain America, Iron Man was very like popular. It wasn't until like the Avengers came out that this shit was just like, okay, now we could just like make money off of this because it's like it's the stuff that everybody likes and like the stakes are so high and all the actors are A-listers and like it sounds like I'm rambling, but like I have a strong point to this that I can only get across by describing literally the entire process, the entire mental process of conditioning. How like, you get people, specifically young people, Disney Channel, whatever, watchers, fans, and you know, Disney buys the rights to Marvel, buys the rights to Star Wars, and pretty much owns the entire youth entertainment industry, almost unchallenged. Almost unchallenged. Like, it's ridiculous. So the Avengers comes out, has the budget of like, God knows what. Insane, right? Well then, Avengers 2, Avengers 3, that was gonna be Avengers 4. It's ridiculous. Well, what's the point I'm trying to get across with this? Well, these movies, these superhero movies, they get into people's heads. They make them do things. They make them feel a certain way, act a certain way, and it's a little it's a little crazy actually. I used to think that like I'd have like the most problems in my life with people, slightly older than me or my own age, right? But it looks like, the younger generation is experiencing a crisis. And even though most people will point this out as being a one off, I think that, just saying that is naive. Mostly due to the fact that not only do I think that it's going to reoccur, but I think it has reoccurred. It's just this is the first time we're seeing it. So, what I missed out in the first video was this random person, random guy. I think he called himself. Who cares what he called himself? He's just a crazy person. He walks up to this guy's house, and mind you, this person has uh, door doorbell cam and a camera inside of his house. And on both of the cameras, holy shit. Comes right up to the door, wants to know if the daughter is okay. Air quotes. Yeah. Says he's going to kill you, motherfucker, and this and that. And like, you should see the look on his face. The that look. I've seen it before. You see it when you see these kids that are hypnotized and enchanted by politics to, like, shout and fight against racism. And they get all, heroic about it. And then who echoes their sentiment? Oh, it's the Hollywood A-listers. That's right, you can't vote for Donald Trump. He's mean, bigoted, racist, Islamophobic. Because, Islam doesn't do anything bad. Well, what is the other one? Oh, he's a Trump. He like whatever. He like sexually assaults women or some shit like that. They're trying to like throw that shit against them or all these like allegations. And you know why? It's because it makes them feel like superheroes. It makes them feel alive, and they all connect together in this like sad like embrace of communist pedophilic beliefs. Like it's the embellishment of an endless childhood where you never grow up and you're never necessarily accountable for your actions because it's like I do it for the greater good, so I'm like very self-sacrificial. I'm like, ready to die for my beliefs. This guy is rushing into this stranger's house. He hears like this daughter crying out for help in his head, or I don't know, he's making it out. He watched too many of those Marvel ass movies, these superhero ass movies. Oh, holy shit. So, he even gets into a fight with the homeowner. The homeowner gets like a shovel and everything. And then the homeowner pleads with him. He asks him, "Are you military?" And nobody knows like if he is or he isn't, but he said yes. So that's like, he just like tries to defuse the situation, goes and talks with them outside. A bunch of cops, a bunch, like I think 3, 4. That was good. Good on the cops for bringing that many for this fucking maniac. What the fuck, dude? But this is like, and this is why I'm re-recording this episode, because I think this links back to, not directly, I'm not saying that like he's involved with this, and like whatever, he condones this kind of behavior, but I think it links back to like, Rehab Room and his whole black pill movement of like, this idealism that if it doesn't exist, you become like a villain after a while, even though you won't admit it. Like, you'll feign passivity. Inevitably, like, you will succumb to it. You will succumb to that media. I think we all do, to an extent. Like, I do. I went to clubs. I would go up to girls I never knew. I didn't know them. I'm just dancing with them for some reason. What the hell, man? I don't know you, you brown clown. Get away from me. You're too dark. I can't see you. You're invisible. But like, more to the point, to be more serious about it, like, it is like this idea of like escapism, like embellished with like social justice and almost this reciprocal like behavior where you get rewarded for doing and saying and acting the right way. And to get that recognition, guys will jump through those hoops. Like so, and I brought this up in the previous recording, but I'm just gonna touch on it like a little bit now. So we're finding out that like a lot of guys are finding that this place isn't what they thought it was going to be. It's a very hypergamous place that that hyper competitivity is almost bleak. People are willing to like rob and like cheat, gamble, whatever to just get ahead. And I find that analogy very fitting because I'm playing our creators. You see, it's a gamble every single time you play this game. When you go out, you don't know who you're going to encounter. You don't know the threat level. You don't know anything, right? You're just thinking, oh, it's just gonna be normal. Nah, you got like a bunch of snipers on you, or you got some guy chasing you down trying to kill you, or you got like a bunch of robots, or all the above. So you gotta play the game differently. You gotta sneak around. You gotta be by yourself. Don't attract too much attention to yourself. Let's see, that's what they did, eh? I followed this club. I have for like the longest time on Instagram, and they had this like gay pride event. Um, Whatever the DJs or some shit, and they had their dancers, they had their peoples, they had their mans dressing up, and then you see the brown mans, and the Punjabi mans, and the Paki mans dressing up like that. I bring that up because the first time I saw it, I was just like, oh, like it's not like the very first time I've seen it. It's just like shocking every time I've seen it. You know what I mean? Because it's like the whole culture against it. And I bring that up because not too long ago they just took it down. I'm like, holy shit. I'm just like checking up on like, what the events were and like, DJ, whatever. It turns out the family found out, the parents found out, siblings, whatever, cousins. That's how it is. You can't be yourself. You can't find the embrace that, you secretly coveted the entire time. Hassan is calling Ethan Klein a psychosexual person. People are psychosexually obsessed with him. Right? His fan base are. And I'm just like, how though? Like, you're a guy who's literally fake. Like, every single time I see him now, the white cyberns, like, you could just go back to like his own videos that he made, by the way, and just see like how gray his sideburns are and just how much trouble he has to go through. Just like keep it like brown color. It's just ridiculous. And I bring that up because like you could say, oh, that's a psychosexual analysis and shit. Yeah, he's the one who's doing it though. He's the one who's dyeing his hair and shit. He's the one who's calling a married man with kids psychosexual. Like, it's funny because if we apply that logic, right, it's almost as if that's the perfect description of this. Like they're calling it a Reddit mod. Guy who broke into this person's house. He looks like a Reddit mod. um, it's a psychosexual type of thing, like where he's just trying to go in there to rescue this girl. I think he called him Victor, which is weird. And when Penguin Zero, aka Charlie, was like, talking about it, he's like, hey, what does he mean? Victor Von Doom or some shit like that? Dr. Doom? And then had me thinking, like, holy shit, yeah, Charlie hit it right on the head. Like, that's exactly where his head is at right now. He's like some fucking super ass hero shit. On some like, yo, I'm gonna save the world type shit, man. Hassan's out here and be like, yo, I'm gonna save the world type shit with my terrorism buddies, and you know, the gang rapes and all that shit. I'm gonna just deny it all. Khomeini and her daughter. Oh, dude. So I don't know who is this, Khomeini or Khomeini or whoever. Some like Persian general, whatever. IRGC's niece and daughter got like, you know, arrested by ICE and deported and shit. And it's funny because, okay, so they get detained, right? And it's funny how I like alluded to this like in my previous video when I said like, okay, it would have been funny because Hassan never actually met this girl. If like he out of nowhere, for the like, you know, the good of the Muslim Brotherhood, he like it just like magically proposed to her and tried to like marry to keep her in the country or some shit like that so she could be prevented from getting deported. And it's like it's funny that I brought that up because that's exactly what she tried to do. She tried to call her boyfriend and try to get, oh, break me out of this ICE facility. Help me. I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck? Yo, like, okay, if you have that, like, you know, the money to live a lavish lifestyle, and I heard like her mom was like crazy going after like hairdressers stalking people, and like, yo, wasn't she like married to like a guy who would like kill her and shit for like being with other guys and stuff? But like, yo, that shows that like level of like shit that you just don't know, that like they're probably like okay with it, like it's that kind of like weird transition, you know, where the guy doesn't necessarily care whether or not that she's like doing that activity, because not only is he doing that activity, but like they already have a kid together, so it's like they're not necessarily going to leave each other considering their positions of power and like, you know, influence. So she basically lives in a gilded cage in America with her daughter, and he like, you know, does his thing in Iran. I get deported. Just it's like, break me out of here, please. And the boyfriend like immediately went to the authorities and said, "Yeah, fuck that." She's trying to like fucking manipulate me. She's a stupid bitch, and she ugly. He probably said that, but it's funny how like it's at the like eve of Coachella, and there's actually pictures of her at Coachella. It'd be funny if it was like this year when they were taken, like it was recent. Oh no, it's so close. Oh, what the fuck are you doing at Coachella anyway? Like I like the girls' outfits and stuff. They look hot, but I don't know about the music. I think that's questionable. But then again, I listen to techno music, so that's my jam. So, like, unlike, you know, Rehab Room telling you to, like, you know, not ask out girls, because he did raise a good point, though. Rehab Room in his latest video raised a good point. And I found out this trap um, a few times when I was younger. And that is, like, let's say you approach a girl and you appear very interesting to speak to, or you're very comedic, or you're very whatever, right? You're gonna have that expectation, like, you know, hanging over you all the time. So the only way you could ever succeed and not, like, you know, have that issue of having to please somebody constantly to gain their affection is, well, the, you know, the obvious bullshit, you know, answer is just be yourself. Just, you know, I don't need to tell you that. But like, you know, Rehab Room's going out of his way to be like, oh, you know, the girls, they don't like you. They hate you. You gotta join the Hassan side. You know, you'll be better looking than most women when you're 50 something. I think I was 53. Like, yo, she looks good, as in he. She looks good. At 53, man. oh, people are gonna be like, yo, you're transphobic and shit. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up, man. Like, the thing that I hate the most about this whole idea of this is that the people who get the most harm from it are kids, and the rest of us are just annoyed to fucking hell about it. Like, yeah, it's annoying, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect me. But then, like, I have to sit here and endure, like, the suffering of children and, like, young people in a world where they can't control the variables of reality around them. It's like, okay, anybody can go into any bathroom, anybody can say any gender. You're seeing like these gigantic ass acronyms. Like I thought Canada was the only one that did it. There's like this gigantic mutant version of LGBT, and it's just like it's LGBTQABB ABC 123. Oh my god, it's so long. It's almost as bad as the other one, the MMMIP. And I feel bad because it's like the first acronym is like, genuinely discerning. Like, oh, missing Native Indigenous women, right? Like that's something that is concerning. But like, wouldn't you want to separate that group from other groups to isolate and solve that issue first? But and that's where you get this whole, political circus, where it's not necessarily about helping people, it's the appearance of helping people, and, appearing to help all people. But you can't do that. You know that, like, the reason why, like, this war is happening with Iran not wanting to surrender is because they don't want to admit that them and their men will be replaced by, actual men, forcing women to like do as they please, offering nothing, the sloth of it, the willingness to enslave an entire, you know, it's kind of crazy too. If aliens were to look at us from afar, I can see how like games like Ark are so popular. Like it sounds like, fuck these guys. Like it sends some like robots after you, just shoot you, and then like they progressively get harder, and then they send this one. It's called the Vaporizer, and then like it vaporizes you and shoots like bullets that like set you on fire and shit. It's ridiculous. And you think that's the worst? No, there's an actual flamethrower robot. Comes right up to you and shoots a flamethrower at you. Oh shit. So I gotta get into Marathon. Like, all the hate that that game is getting is fucking ridiculous because Marathon is one of those games that you need skill in it, and that's why I think like the largest consumer base of it is PC because it goes without saying. Like, it's a game to be played with the highest frame rate, refresh rate, whatever, and a keyboard and mouse, and like sitting right in front of the screen because you just have to like see every single little pixel. I play with crossplay too, and I'm getting my ass. I don't care. I'm gonna keep it on until like maybe I just want to rage quit and I just turn it off, and I can like level up my character. And I have to play more Neo 3. I have to play some more Daemon X Machina. I have to play some more. Probably gonna reinstall Armor Core, and then like the DLC for Mech Warrior is coming out. Okay, so tons of news, everybody. All right, take care. And remember,